I just wanted the business that I was working for to really make change in the world.
Yeah.
People like me want to see people like you succeed. It took me a while to really find purpose in helping small businesses. You've really helped me, and you're not looking at me like I'm an idiot. In business, there is an unlimited amount of money, really, that you could make. But what are we doing with that money?
Thea. So, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's really do. So you're quite an amazing accountant, as I've discovered, and you have a really, really amazing brain for how it works. But I'm super interested, what got you into accounting in the first place?
So what got me into accounting in the first place was an Asian mum who told me that I could be few things, and one of them was an accountant.
Right.
I still wanted to be in the finance area. I wanted to be an economist, and I loved, studying about the economies and economics. But she did economics in university.
Okay.
And when she came to Australia, she became an accountant because there was no jobs in economics.
Right.
So she used that to tell me, no, you go be an accountant because there are more jobs in that.
Wow.
And she actually told me this is the minimum, what is it called these days? Like that in HSC, this is the minimum mark that you need to get. And anything less than that, she said it in a way where it was like, you are smart, and there's no reason why you can't reach this.
Okay.
And so that's how I became an accountant. My grandfather is also an accountant.
Okay.
So yes, there are accountants in the family.
Accountants and economists.
Yes.
Yes. Those economists.
Yes, but that's how I got into accounting. But I actually didn't want to follow the typical accounting route where, you do your degree and then you go off and try to get a job at the Big Four or the mid-tier firms.
Okay.
I just knew that what I had and what I had to offer, I just wanted it to be really purposeful.
Okay.
So for me, I actually leaned into small businesses and not-for-profits. So I was an accountant initially in small businesses, and then I eventually moved on to the not-for-profit space.
Okay. So when you say accountant in a small business, do you mean like kind of what you're doing now where you have a business and you work for small businesses, or you were employed by a small business as their in-house accountant?
So I was employed as an accountant or, an assistant accountant because I was still fresh out of uni. So I was employed in-house as an accountant or in finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you did that for how many years or what?
Well, so I did that probably for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I shifted into not-for-profit as an in-house accountant as well.
Yep.
But between then as well, I guess I was still an in-house accountant, but I had the opportunity where I could work from home and then start, there was a group of businesses where they left the previous bookkeepers and accountants, and they really loved my work. So they then just said, hey, do you want to work for us?
Yep.
And then, because they were always out and about, we just set up at my parents' lounge.
Yep.
And but then from there, because I really wanted to use, I guess, my skills for a high purpose, I then did that concurrently with not-for-profit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so at that point in your career or I guess business journey, so at that point in time for you, a higher purpose was not-for-profits.
Yeah, I think it was just I just wanted the business that I was working, not that small businesses didn't have a purpose or anything like that. But I think for me at the time, I just really wanted the business that I was working for to really make change in the world.
Yeah.
And so the not-for-profit that I was was with persecuted Christians.
Okay.
So, so that was really an eye-opener. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was with other Christians as well. So, being in an environment where, okay, every day they would pray before that they would work.
Yep.
They would pray for, the donors who are giving money. They would pray for the people who are receiving and dealing with the money to just make sure that it goes into the right areas.
Right.
And so what I felt like what I was doing was like, okay, here, I'm doing accounting and I'm making sure that where this money is going to is helping.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. That's cool. And I think it's really fascinating when people talk about they find their purpose, and it can be all sorts of different things. Like, sometimes people are like, yeah, I love working for big businesses because I like shaping and influencing this, and other people are like, I just like the solopreneurs and that sort of stuff. That's really fascinating. Yeah. Okay, so you did that for a while, and then at some point
So at some point, we then decided as to increase our family.
Okay.
So I then became a mum.
Right.
So my role at work started to not diminish in the sense of like they didn't value me anymore, but I went from full-time work to now 1 day or 2 days of work. Right. And obviously I had to also be in a role that would help the other team.
Yep.
But what eventually happened was our finance team was made redundant during that time.
Yep.
And I had to make a decision. Do I go and find another part-time job with this young baby?
Yep.
Or I guess I've done bookkeeping and accounting. We could try just seeing if that works, because at least that way I would be able to stay at home with Hayden. Or, if I had to go and do another job, one, I don't even know if they're family friendly. Like, of course, I'd love to find one where they are, but also it's then building that trust and, like I'm coming in, they know that I have a new baby. Like, is she really that reliable? Will I really be wanted? I don't know. So I guess I just didn't want to go through all of the hoops that would run.
Right. Yep.
And and when I decided, let's just try with this accounting thing, this bookkeeping, I started off as doing bookkeeping. I then just, from church, this person needed help with something, so I helped them. And then and then just more people heard, and then it just started growing.
So it's almost like an accident.
Yeah.
There's no play. You read someone who was like, my whole life I wanted to go into business, and now's the opportunity. We're just like...
Yeah. And during that time as well, my husband and I, he was like, well, you could just stay at home. Like I could, he was behind whatever I chose to do. But at that time, I also didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was like, yeah, I would love to stay at home, but I also know this baby's going to grow up. And then what am I going to do?
That's right.
It's like, what am I, why?
TV.
I'm worked hard to also be an accountant. I studied and everything like that. Yeah. And I do want to use those skills.
So good.
But I also want to be at home as well. And so at that time, I was just thinking, let's just go into business so that I don't have this gap on my resume if I ever did want to go back to work.
Wow. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so at some point in time, that perspective must have shifted. Did you get to a point where okay, I've actually got to get to do something about it? Now you employ people, so at some point in time you must have been like, okay, this is not just about filling out my resume.
No, so for a while it actually was. So 2015 to 2017, more and more people heard about me. I was getting good money as somebody who worked part-time, and I could do it from home. Yes, it was stressful trying to do the baby, the routine of that, and then trying to just find time when I can do work. So it was challenging in that aspect. But then where it really started to turn was I had to make a decision. So we then had our second child.
Yep.
And like the first 6 months, obviously I was with Isaac and, you know, being the one who was mainly staying at home and doing that. But during that time, I had like this. So I should also say, like, during when I also had children, work really helped because I had postnatal depression. So having something that I could do for my own and not thinking about the children was really, really helpful.
Wow.
Physical.
Yeah.
And the postnatal depression, what also added to that was when I was made redundant from my not-for-profit job that I completely loved. That also threw another identity crisis onto me. So, you know, I was trying to deal with the emotions of that and not trying to feel rejected. And especially because I thought that I was going into not-for-profit, doing God's work. So I was also dealing with, is God rejecting me?
Yeah, right. Yep.
Right? So, and then you have a crying baby or you have crying babies and you can't settle them and you're doing your best. And so when they're crying as well, are they rejecting me?
Yeah, yep.
Right? And so when people just kept saying yes at work or like in business, I'm like, why did I want to work with them? Like,
What was Not even my baby's like, I'm not saying that's true, dude. Let's look at
that was the perspective, all right? And so, but where it shifted was Isaac was probably 6 or 9 months old. And I was like, well, I have the choice to either really go back to work and find my dream job in not-for-profit, or because this, you know, bookkeeping business is actually, it's got some legs in it. I think at that time as well, I was having the decision of, do I put someone else on so that the capacity can grow? So I was kind of like at a crossroads of going, what do I really want to do?
Wow.
And so what I did was I actually applied for jobs that were for not-for-profits, jobs that I really wanted to do, causes that I really cared about. And so I did the interviews and I got through the rounds and, you know, got to the point where I was about to be offered. And then that's when it hit me and I was like, I can get a job anytime. I can.
So your plan worked.
Yeah.
You're ready to make gap for 100% work.
Yeah.
And then you got to the point where you're about to execute on your plan and you were
Yes.
no.
Yeah. And I was like, so I can get this job at any time.
Yeah.
These not-for-profits who I would love to work for, they want me as well. Well, if that is the backup now,
Yep.
well, why don't we just see if this other thing works? Because I do get to stay at home. I then get to run my own business, make my own choices, and at a drop of a hat, I could be there for my kids. Right? And so that's what I did.
So your plan B was you get your dream job.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, essentially.
that is amazing. Janet. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that decision point happened and you've clearly never looked back.
No. So I then hired my first employee. We ended up getting more business. I then had a business coach, a Christian business coach at the time, and he said something really powerful to me. So Pete Lowe. He said, Thea, people like me want to see people like you succeed. And I think that really changed my perspective on how I was looking at myself. Because I was like, at that point, I was like, who am I? Like, I'm just this mum with 2 kids and I have an accounting degree. I love God and I love people, but why would anybody want to work with me? Yeah. And so for him to say that at that time, I was like, you know what? Let's just, I'm going to believe that myself as well. And like, people do want to see me succeed. Yeah. And so, just it just then started growing organically. More people heard, more people spoke about me and told other people, so then they would come along. So it just grew really organically. And then because I worked well with people, and like in business, you start having like you get to know somebody, you have a relationship with them, so then but they work at like a bigger firm, so then they give you opportunity there. And so through all of those as well, what ended up happening is I had strategic relationships where I ended up selling half of my business so that we could then acquire a larger accounting firm as well.
So like fun. So not that it really matters for the interview, but so you split it in half and then funded that acquisition. So your partner or partners that came and ended up owning a much bigger. Cool.
Yeah. And then it's grown and it keeps growing.
It's an amazing story, I have to say. I love the stories about your partners. They're all so different. Like, who would have thought? That's crazy. Yeah. Good for you. That's so good. So what I'm really interested then is, like just replaying some of that history from what I understand. So you wanted to be an economist, ended up going to accounting, found a lot of purpose in working for not-for-profits, and you sort of mentioned you did some small business stuff around there. But now you have your own business that employs people, and from what I can tell, like researching you and your business, your primary focus seems to be small, medium businesses and not so much non-profit, not-for-profits. So like walk me through that shift in like non-profit is my dream job. I now own a business, but I serve small businesses and not that many non-profits.
Yes. So I think that was a journey for me.
Okay.
It was like, I think it took me a while to really find purpose in helping small businesses.
Right. Yeah.
Where I could see was I knew that when clients would come to me and they would have questions, a lot of them, sometimes female, would go, wow, like you've really helped me and you're not looking at me like I'm an idiot. Yeah. So that's where I really felt like I could help people, was because I was telling them things in a way that they would understand and not feel like, like they've never gone through this before. Of course you don't know, but that's why you've come to me, so I can help you through this, and then you will know a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right? So I found purpose in going, okay, I'm helping them and they feel good about themselves. Interesting. Right? But I think where it also started to shift and where the journey is now happening is that in business, there is an unlimited amount of money, really, that you could make. But what are we doing with that money as well? And so for me, it's being how can I be the best leader or owner in my business? And that's also like with the not-for-profit heart, being someone who's kind, generous, flexible, because I'm a mum, I want to be flexible. So giving that opportunity to the mums and non-mums, in our organization, right? So that they can be present for their family or their children or the other things that make them not just an accountant or bookkeeper at the firm. So that's one way, like paying staff great. And then also using, okay, this is the profit that I have, and diverting it to where are the places and spaces that we could, help as well. So I think that's how we've kind of merged it. But there's also, there's clients who come to us and I know we will not make money from them. Like, I just know.
How soon is like 5 minutes?
But there's something that tugs at my heart that just goes, we need to help this person.
Yeah.
Not because we're going to make money from them or because they're going to now tell all of their friends all about us, but because this person genuinely needs help. Right. And there are also clients where I could keep taking their money and doing the work every week, but I just know I was like, they either can't, like, they are no longer at the point where they can afford us. Because being an accountant, we're there when you start your business, throughout your business, when your business is maybe ending, and when it ends, right? And so we can see those stages. So, it's also going with the client, okay, this is where we can help you.
Yeah.
And we know you probably won't be able to pay us, but this is how we can help you. And then, let's help come up with other ways so that at least you're not, putting a lot of your resources still to us.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I want to dive into the purpose thing a little bit more, because when I'm thinking about what you've said, it sounds like you started off just doing it, like you said, because you're like, well, let's give it a go. Like, I need something to do, the postnatal depression. I mean, you probably didn't know that it was going to be so helpful at the time. But,
Yeah.
but it doesn't sound like there was too much of a purpose to that other than just earning some money and giving yourself something to do that you could do and you're passionate about.
Yeah. But I guess
Now you talk about it like you're very passionate about doing that. So was that passion always there and you didn't know it was there, or did something happen and you kind of realize that this is it, this is what I'm here to do, and this is how I want to build it?
I think I always had passion. Like whatever I did, I wanted to make sure that it had impact, right? So me having a job, that has impact on my family because it means I can provide for them.
Yeah.
My boys can see that their mum works as well. So hopefully when they have wives that, they'll be supportive of that as well. But I think that it's always been in there. It's just also like I've been in not-for-profit and I know that there is so much change that can happen. But now that I'm in business, how can I be a part of that change but not be directly in or working in a not-for-profit? Right? And I think what I saw was, okay, we can use our resources, and, like a percentage of our profits right now goes to Opportunity International, right? Like where they're also helping like women in Indonesia like have a better life for themselves. So they give them a loan so that they can have business.
Oh, that's cool. A micro loan.
Yes, and microloans. And then from that, there is change because not only are they affecting their community, but directly themselves and their family. Right? And they're making a better life and outcome for themselves.
So cool.
Or even like we use contractors. So we have contractors overseas in the Philippines, but rather than using a third party where we have to pay them, this third party, and then they pay the staff, because I'm Filipina, and we still have family. So it was like going around who is it that you trust and who is it that we can hire? Like one of our first Philippine hires, we were able to double her income.
Wow.
And lessen the amount of work that she has as well. And every time we speak to her about that, she just always cries because she's always so grateful. So I think it was like there is so much good that a business can do without, and I don't need to be in a not-for-profit to make impact and good impact in the world.
Okay, that's cool. But profit with a purpose.
Yeah.
Or for a purpose. Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. And so where's your head at in terms of like where you want to go next with the business? Like realistically, you can't see this on the camera, but one of Thea's co-workers is with her in the camera, so she's probably very interested to hear this as well.
Yeah. That's an interesting question because I swing.
Yep.
And we can grow it so that we can then go make more impact. I don't want to grow it to the extent where I am less present as a wife and mother.
Right.
Right? And so how can we grow And that is putting people in place. So I think that is what the next step is to build capacity, like our team's capacity, and find people who fit culturally within our business so that I can let go of the reins more and let them lead more. So there's a transition of me. I know that I still have to do a lot of the relationships and everything. I don't think I could ever really fully step away because I want to do both. And I think that's the problem. Or opportunity, but I want to be a present mum, but I also love building joyful finance, and sometimes those things butt heads with each other.
Yeah, I feel like every entrepreneur I've ever spoken to who is a technical expert in their own right has that saying, like they might have different types of challenge, but they always come up against that same thing, like how do I keep doing it, but also at some point in time you have to not do it because what's the business going? I'm super interested to see how it goes. Yeah.
And as the business grows and you put more people on, I'm realizing, other people can do it well or better than me. And I'm also realizing I'm actually really good at this aspect of business and I could focus more on them as well.
That's like an ongoing discovery. Do you ever have those moments where you just like, it's a light bulb comes on? You're like, oh, this is what people have been trying to tell me for years. I have. That's cool. Okay. So you do a lot of stuff with small businesses and there's a lot of people who are wanting to start a business or that sort of stuff, like who watch this channel. Is there any kind of like, I don't know, 3 golden rules? Like if you're going to start a business, get this right because nothing else or everything else comes from there? Like, is there anything that you just like, I wish small businesses did this well?
I think one, put aside money for tax. Because you want to get to the end and you're just always like, oh no, like I don't have money. So that's one thing that I do see people get wrong. I think the other one is not separating personal and business. And in the sense of, they use one account and then they spend all of their groceries or all of their personal stuff from that one account. It's best to split that, but I think really, I think people should give a try, with their business, right? But I think that they should expect that it's actually really, really hard to build.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a grind where you... Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any parts of the grind you think are like, for you, were the worst or just the things that you struggle with the most from it?
I think the thing that I struggle with the most is I could just keep doing. Like if you gave me, this is all the jobs that we need to do this week. And if I didn't have family, I think I would just go spit all of that out. My issue is that I do have a family and I have to pull myself and intentionally pull myself away from the work and go, I've done enough. And I think for me, it's being proud or happy with what I've accomplished in the day.
Right.
So for most people, I think they will look at me, my staff will go, but you've done 1 million things today. How are you not happy? But I was like, but I wanted to do 1,000,002. And I didn't get those 2 things done.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's like, I can't, there is tomorrow.
Yep.
Hopefully. Usually.
Or if there's not, you won't have to worry about your business.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Normally I like to ask people about their kind of thoughts and opinions about AI, but honestly, I reckon that was a pretty amazing interview as it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. You sure?
I mean, I'm happy to keep going if you want, but yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, or you can, no, we'll just go die down and then it's nah. You can ask her. But I understand if you want to end it better with oh, thanks, Thea. She's already...
No, I thought I'd ask the question before I ended it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I actually think that's a really quite insightful. I actually think you're the first person I've ever spoken to who has been really open to talk about that whole postnatal depression thing and how that went through, which, I mean, obviously it's not something I know much about myself, but I think it's really cool that you're able to articulate a path through that pain, and then it's really interesting to see how that's turned into a whole business. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing about that. It's not a topic that people are comfortable talking about, so thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, James.